Okay, before I get going too much further, I've gotten these arrowheads, as you can see here. Let me zoom out a little bit. I've gotten those arrowheads planar or coincident on the inside face to the face of the center support, which is correctly mated in place where it needs to be. So now it's going to take a little bit of massaging, but let's go ahead and do Control 7, get into isometric. We'll rotate this around so we can kind of see this detail we want here. So what I'm going to do is click on this guy again, and I'm going to view his mates. And right now I've got a measured mate right now of let's see right here. Let's go ahead and open that up and let's take a look at it. Got a measured mate of a set distance of 5.125, which I believe was half the distance that I needed, but I needed to flip that particular dimension. So I'm going to go ahead and release that and switch that around, and what I'm going to do is come over here to this, and as you can tell, this is grayed out. I can't mate that the way I want to. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come back and review some of the mates that I've currently got right now. I want to keep that one, and because looks like I'm going to have to delete one of these mates here. I'm going to go ahead and look at this one. I want to keep that one. That one, I'm not real clear where that one is going, so let's zoom out. Look here, it's coincident with the other one. That's probably one I need to get rid of, so I'm going to go ahead and delete that one, which is causing me some problems. And then I'm going to come back over here, review those. That looks pretty good. We'll keep that one. Now let's see if we can modify this one now, since I deleted that other mate that made it coincident with the other part. So I'm going to go ahead and try to edit that mate. And right now it's showing this mate in here at that setting. Again, it's not allowing me to change that. So let's go ahead and get out of that for a moment. Let's go find that mate, and I'm going to delete him altogether. Just get him out and say go away. So now I know that based on these two parts here, I can move these along accordingly. So what I'm going to try to do is I'm going to try to come up to this edge right here, and I'm going to try to mate it to this edge right there, and it should pull it back, which it did. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and do I'm going to go ahead and key in I'm going to key in 0.50625, and let's see how that makes a difference. Yes, it did what I wanted it to do. Okay, so I'll check that off. So essentially that put this part a little less than halfway between, a little more than halfway between that. So again, I'll go back and let's go ahead and get out of that for a moment. We're going to go back to our friendly tape measure, and he's going to tell us it's 1.024. So let's do a highlight of that. We'll do a Control C to copy, and now what we're going to do, I know what I did wrong. Now what we're going to do is we've copied that. We're going to go back and get out of this, and we're going to go select that part again. We're going to view those mates. I think I know where I made my mistake. So I'm going to click on this guy, edit him. When he comes up over here, as you can see, what I'm going to do is I'm going to highlight this right here, do a Control V, and paste this in, and then I'm going to say divide that by 2, and then I'm going to subtract that by 0.0625, which would be a 16th. So let's see what happens there. You know, it looks like we got pretty close. Let's go ahead and move our display here down. We'll go ahead and move this over to, looks like that side there. And if I'm eyeballing this, that's pretty close to being where I need it to be. So we're going to go ahead and accept that for now. And that's got our mate in. So we know we've got to go ahead and get out of this, and we've got to resolve this other arrowhead. What's kind of neat about when you do a view mates, it only isolates down to the 2 key parts that you're working with, or 3 parts, however many it is, based on the number of mates that you've got. So I'm going to go ahead and select on that. I'm going to pop up my pop-up menu. I'm going to go ahead and make it, let's see if I can do it coincident with that guy right there. We'll zoom out. Looks like it did. Go ahead and hit accept it. Okay. Now, if we look at this thing, we'll do Control 2 here so we can see it on the side. And it's a little off because what we've done is the part is not technically symmetrical. So we got to fix that. We got to change that. So I think we can do that. So we're going to rotate this around. We're going to go back to this part here, and we're going to do View Mates again, and we're going to select all of these. Now this is a little problem, obviously, that we're going to have to resolve. So we're going to delete that, as you see here, yes to all. And we're going to change how we mate this thing. So we'll get out of that. Okay, he's gone. Instead, we're going to use this side here to mate against, whoops, go ahead and get out of that preview. And use this side here to mate with this part right there. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to rotate down or zoom down here. I'm going to say flip that mate around, which it did, and that's good. And we're going to accept that. Now I'm going to rotate this up because it's now at a weird angle. I'm going to grab that, go back to the mate command. I'm going to pop up, scroll down here, and accept that. So that brought that down there. Now let's rotate this around a little bit. Let's zoom out and rotate that up as said. We're going to click on this guy and we're going to mate him to coincident, make sure it's coincident to this guy there. And it should pull that back in. We'll accept that. We're going to do a Control 2 and look there. You see how the arrows are in somewhat now symmetrical. That's good. That's going to make our welding a whole lot easier. Now we're going to have to be careful that when we put this thing together, we got to know that we are not technically symmetrical in this part that we scanned in and traced and brought into SolidWorks from Adobe Illustrator. But that's okay. We can figure all that out and it won't be a big showstopper. Alright, so now we're left with designing the face plate that's going to hold the cell phone onto the stand and the little prop that's going to come 90 degrees off that face plate that's going to hold it in. So we're going to go ahead and save this assembly now. Control S, save that. And we're going to come back to this and start designing that face plate.